So it looks like Solange is once again ready to square up with Jay-Z because she just came out to expose him for allegedly controlling Beyonce with drugs. Solange has never really liked Jay-Z and she has never shied away from making her stand clear. And now she is coming up with some hard evidence about how Jay-Z has been manipulating Beyonce also. It looks like Kevin Hart's marriage might be taking a downward spiral because word on the streets is that his wife Eniko is taking some legal steps and considering ending their marriage after Kevin was exposed for cheating on her again. You'll need to get on this drama real quick cuz things are about to get messy. There have been rumors for years about how Solange is probably not Jay-Z's biggest fan, and a girl does she keep proving it every day that streets have been saying for years that she isn't exactly the biggest in of Beyonce's relationship and marriage to Jay-Z because she just doesn't like him, and we've been wondering what exactly she has against her billionaire brother-in-law while following the recent allegations that have been brought against Jay-Z and how he is allegedly controlling Beyonce with drugs to manipulate her. It's not really surprising that Solange considers him to be an OP again. This kind of echoes what people have been saying about the marriage and how weird it is. Jay-Z and Beyonce are arguably the Hollywood power couple, but that doesn't mean their relationship was all sunshine and rainbows. It was far from perfect. Their combined fortune of nearly $2 billion, a luxurious home, and the admiration of their peers, the dynamics of their marriage presented a whole different story for those not in the loop on Beyonce and Jay-Z's journey. As a couple, they have consistently faced scrutiny for the unconventional aspects of their relationship. For example, they first met when Beyonce was just a teenager, while Jay-Z was in his 30s. Reflecting on those early days, Beyonce shared in an interview, "I was 18 when we first met, 19 when we started dating. There was no rush. No one expected me to run off and get married." The couple officially began dating when Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, a substantial age gap that stirred concern among fans, with some speculating about the possibility of Beyonce being groomed by Jay-Z. Putting aside the age gap, folks have also raised eyebrows about the uneven power dynamics right from the get-go. When Beyonce and Jay-Z kicked off their romance, Beyonce was already quite popular, but Jay-Z was an industry heavyweight with significantly more clout and influence than she had at the time. This, coupled with their age difference, sparked doubts and started conversation about how imbalanced the relationship was from the start. However, over the years, the playing field has pretty much leveled out because Beyonce has become the biggest artist in Hollywood. She's literally the most decorated artist ever and holds the Grammy record as the most awarded person in the history of the awards. But in with this, fans still feel a type of way about the marriage. So Jay-Z has faced criticism, with some labeling him as a predator. Then there's also the fact that Jay-Z was Beyonce's first real relationship. She has opened up about how she didn't have the typical childhood or teenage years because she was super focused on her career. She said, "My teenage years were about the grind. I grew up hearing this particular scripture from James 2:17, faith without work is dead. Vision and intention weren't enough. I had to put in the work. I committed to always being a student and always being open to growth. My energy went into Destiny's Child and the dream of us getting a record deal and becoming musicians. If something wasn't helping me reach my goal, I decided to invest no time in it. I didn't feel like I had time to key or hang out. I sacrificed a lot of things and ran from any possible distraction." Beyonce wasn't just 12 years younger than Jay-Z, but she was also pretty inexperienced when it came to relationships, adding an extra layer of sketchiness. As time passed, speculation started about whether she felt confined in the marriage, especially now that she's older and had more experience. Some insiders claim it's not just a feeling. Beyonce is genuinely trapped. According to sources, Jay-Z holds complete control over every aspect of her life, leaving her with little room to live on her own terms. Multiple people have recently come forward to expose Jay-Z's control and manipulation of Beyonce, and one of them is a man who claims to be her former bodyguard. He had a lot to say about Beyonce's relationship with Jay-Z, and he kicked things off by confirming suspicions that their marriage was purely business.
Your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
This revelation doesn't exactly shock a lot of fans because people have been saying for a while that Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship has been weird from the start. People have been saying for years that their marriage is not based on true love and Fan pointed out how they've always struggled to convince people of their deep affection for each other. This led fans to speculate that their marriage was a strategic move to secure the throne as Hollywood's most powerful couple, and if we're being honest, they have succeeded in that because it's impossible to name one couple in Hollywood who is more powerful than they are. This is why it's a common belief that their union is primarily for PER, and that's the real reason they've stayed together even despite Jay-Z's infidelity. But hold that thought, because according to The Bodyguard, there is a more sinister reason behind the marriage. He claimed that Beyonce isn't just sticking by Jay-Z because she wants to, but because he is controlling her, and she has no choice.
See, hardly nobody knows. But I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She's been on them for a long time. And you keep her that way.
Yeah, this is crazy, and when The Bodyguard dropped the bombshell, he pointed fingers at Jay-Z, claiming that Jay-Z was the one who allegedly got Beyonce hooked on drugs. To start with, this was easy for fans to believe because Jay-Z has been quite open with his past as a drug dealer, so the idea that he could use drugs to control Beyonce doesn't sound that outlandish, because if he wanted to get her on drugs, he probably knew how to do so now. Let's get one thing straight, great. I'm not saying Beyonce is strung out on drugs, so don't come for me. But let's be real, we all know Hollywood's got a bit of a drug problem. Many of our fave celebs have dabbled at least once in the scene. Those wild stories about A-listers throwing epic parties, Chile. It's an open secret that drugs are like the party favors at these parties, and I know y'all remember what Cassie said in her lawsuit, and don't even get me started on the crazy stuff that goes down when artists hit the road for tours. It's a whole other level of wild. Well, again, I'm not saying that Biggie is a druggie. I'm just pointing out that it's not exactly uncommon in Hollywood, and with how private she is and how strictly she controls what the media knows about her, it wouldn't be so impossible for her to hide a hypothetical drug problem over the years. There have been concerns about Beyonce looking drugged or high at events, with people saying, I'm still having conflicted feelings about Beyonce's look. She looks like if Tim Burton was to direct Peter Pan like a drug. Get up, Tinkerbell, look at how drugged up Beyonce looks when she these basketball games with Jay. If you need drugs to have fun, you boring, and Beyonce looks drugged in her video with Jay-Z. So once again, The Bodyguard was basically confirming what folks had been suspecting about Beyonce. Now, here's where it takes a turn for the wild, because he's not the only one who has been spilling the beans on Jay-Z, because Jaguar Wright pretty much said the same thing. Jaguar Wright can be super controversial back, as she stays committed to spilling the wildest tea on celebs. Now, some skeptics out there think Jaguar is just cooking up stories for clout and attention. But the thing is, she's never been slapped with a lawsuit by any celeb for slander or defamation. You'd think if she was spinning tall tales, she'd be swimming in legal battles, right? But nope, she's not so either. She's got some heavy-duty protection from powerful folks, where she's telling the truth, and considering that most of the things she said have come true, people are starting to believe that her revelations are actually true. Girl, she has been trying to warn us about Diddy for ages, but people didn't believe her, and look how that turned out. In an interview, she exposed Will and Jada Smith, as well as Gabrielle Union and Diane Wade. But then she shifted her focus to Jay-Z and Beyonce, and she claimed that Jay-Z is a monster who is so obsessed with keeping Beyonce in his control that he keeps her drugged up.